So you've qualified as a mortgage advisor, but then how do you keep up with all the criteria and changes in the market? How do you know what each lender is doing, which bank and building society is doing, what they will take, what they won't take? In this video, I want to unpack exactly that, all the ways you can stay on top of the market so you don't get left behind. I'm Ash Baldwin, a business coach and brand strategist helping mortgage brokers simplify success. Over the years, I've helped hundreds of mortgage advisors improve their impact and income, but in these videos, I want to help you start a career in this very exciting industry. Let's do it. So when it comes to trying to learn the criteria and stay on top of criteria, first of all, I would say don't stress about it too much. I know that many advisors and many people training to become advisors get really worried about this stuff. They get very panicky. They think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with it? It's going to be, how do I keep on top of it? You don't need to worry, okay? There are loads of ways that you'll be on top of it. And as time goes on, you will retain this information. But let's break down the ways that you keep on top of it. So the first one you've got is lenders' emails. So when you become a mortgage advisor, you will register with the lenders. So you'll register with them as a provider, as an intermediary, and then you will then get criteria updates from them. So if the lender changes criteria, this isn't that they'll tell you what they will take, it's more that they'll tell you if there's been a change to what they'll take. And so these emails will come to you. You'll probably get a couple a week per, depending on any big changes or rate changes or anything like that. And the big advice I can say to this, one of my clients who's been a long-term client of mine said, the reason why he's so on top of things is he reads those emails. If you don't read those emails, if you're somebody just pushes to the side and thinks it's spam, it's really not. If you read those emails, it'll slowly over time allow you to stay on top of everything that's happening. It's easier to add one thing than it is to add 10 or 50 or 20 things. So that's the first way. The second thing you have is business development managers, which is also known as BDMs. So in the mortgage space, you will have BDMs who will come out and visit you. They might do it via Zoom. They might come and see you in person, depending on where they are. And they will come out and they will see you and talk through what their lender can offer, what they actually can give you, and where they are specifically very good, where they are maybe not so good. They'll talk you through all of those things, and you can build relationships with these BDMs very well. And when you're first starting out, I would highly advise you really do prioritize building relationships with BDMs. As time goes on, you will have those relationships. Some are better than others, don't get me wrong. But at the beginning, when you're learning, they will come out, they will speak to you, they will tell you all of the stuff you need to know about it. So if you're worried about who to speak to and stuff, just contact them and say, can I speak to the BDM? Book in a meeting with them. They'll probably do a Zoom or nowadays, but back when I was advising as well, they would come out and see you. So they might come do that still too. BDMs are brilliant and they're a great resource. Plus, they're a really good resource to have in your back pocket if you are then having a tricky case or anything like that. The relationships you build with them, they'll try their hardest to get it over the line for you and help you out where possible. The third way you can do it is Facebook support groups. So one of the best groups from my perspective is, and this is one of the reasons actually why I make this content, is the CMAP study group. And most of the people who watch this will probably have come from the CMAP study group in some way or another. I love that group. I think that group's brilliant. And when you leave that group, there are other groups out there that do a similar thing that will support you. And so there's a couple of them to point out. There's Mortgage Pro, which is run by Gary Das, which is very good. There is the Mortgage and Protection Lounge, which is one of my favorite ones, which is run by a guy called Jamie French. And those two groups, in my opinion, are the best for if you're wanting to ask criteria questions if you're a new advisor. It's very welcoming, very open. People put questions in all the time and people will answer and say, oh, check out this lender, check out that provider. Other one to talk about, the fourth one with this, is there's software available. So there is software available that will do criteria checks for you. Knowledge Bank comes to mind as the one I know the most about, but there are others out there. And so something like Knowledge Bank will tell you what criteria the lenders will or won't take. And that can be really valuable too. So it will say, you can type in a specific situation and then it will bring it up and go, yeah, these people will consider it. It doesn't mean they'll do it, but it means they'll consider it. Again, this type of software is good. It doesn't always mean it's accurate. So just to be careful with all of this stuff, it's always can be a little bit hit and miss, but that's pretty good there too. And then the fifth one is lenders' websites themselves. So if you go to lenders' websites, you go to and look for their criteria, you will find a list of everything they will do. And that's great there too. You'll be able to see who will take it, who won't take it, stuff like that. Now, if you are employed, and let's say you go and work for Connells, because I can tell you from my experience with Connells, if you're self-employed, this isn't you, but if you are employed, you will potentially also have what they call like a mortgage help desk. And so when you're at Connells, we had the mortgage help desk where if you didn't know where a case could be placed and you weren't sure, you could email the mortgage help desk and they would come back to you with a place that would potentially take it. Brilliant resource, very valuable when I was first learning. There are a few places that do that. I think that Connect, which is a network I highly recommend, especially if you're a new advisor coming into it. There's a link in the description if you want to learn about those. But Connect have a help desk, so that's a good thing too. But there's some networks will, some networks won't, but I know in employed roles they will do too. My top tip for this, all of this though, is just stay on top of it. Don't stress about it, but stay on top of criteria changes. If you leave it and don't stay on top of it all, you end up stuck. Another thing you need to consider when you're a mortgage advisor is managing your pipeline. And so if you want to check out this video where I break down with Craig Skelton how to manage a pipeline as a mortgage advisor, it'll give you a head start when you start in the industry.